Hi,
Hi.
I'm John,
And I'm Connie.
and we're talking about the
What?
5 common ways we miscommunicate.
Oh, you're male. You know a lot about that.
I do know a lot about that. And so one of our themes in our work is the invisible obvious.
I love that term.
We shine a light on things that are obvious, and they're so much in plain sight, and so they seem like not worth noticing that they become invisible.
Yeah, like your car keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
or your shoes. Yeah.
But in this case, it's about language. So it's really obvious that for us to communicate, we've got to be speaking the same language. If I'm speaking a language you don't know, or vice versa,
we got problems.
We're not communicating.
No.
What's a little, maybe even more obvious, I think, is that we could be speaking the same language, but have be using words that we have a different meaning attached to. Either because, like I can remember when I was a teenager, I used a couple of words, as slang words that I didn't really know the meaning of. And I was surprised when I found the meaning.
Did you get slapped?
No, thankfully I didn't.
Oh, well.
But I felt foolish. And so we can, but we can have a particular meaning and think we know what we mean. We know what we mean, but we're using a word differently than someone else.
Like the Brits who's called hood a trunk or something like that.
The boot.
The boot.
The trunk of the car is called the boot. And
Who came up with that?
Pants are your underwear, and and there's all we could go. That's another video. Okay, so the 5 ways. I got some notes here. I want to hit on 5 different ways that everybody will recognize. But I don't think we think about, or maybe not enough.
All right, go for it, baby.
Okay, so jargon.
Yeah.
What do you think of as jargon?
Jargon are like pet words, or we call each other different names and
I'm so glad we did this.
Yeah, lovingly and not necessarily good.
It's technical terms. It's specialized language for a particular field.
Oh, okay, like engineers and
doctors, or a trade.
Doctors.
Doctors would have their own jargon.
Oh my God.
And
computer geeks.
Now you're talking my language.
I know.
Or social or cultural groups or occupations or professions. So any group of people that is has a very common, or taxes.
Oh God, yes, accountants.
Jargon. So it's specialized terms that people outside that field probably don't know or aren't familiar with. Okay, so that's a way of miscommunication, right? When you're talking to somebody and they're using those terms and you don't know them. It can be
insurance agent.
The computer. I can talk to the computer part. Hard drive and RAM and ROM and so forth and so on. You can get off the reservation real fast. Okay, buzzwords. Second category is buzzwords. So buzzwords. This is actually kind of like jargon. It's very, very close. It's jargon that's spread outside the original field, and people are using it to sound either smart, or they're just using it incorrectly.
So social media, mostly social.
I got some examples here. Downsize. Okay. Cutting edge. Holistic. Paradigm. Synergy. Tipping point. Okay. Offshoring. So they sound smart, and they have a specific meaning, right? But then they're used to beyond their field to either to try to
impress,
mostly to try to impress. Okay. Really closely related to buzzwords are acronyms. In fact, might even be a subcategory.
Like FBI.
FBI is an acronym. IRS. Those are
CSI.
We like shortcuts, right? Our brain likes shortcuts. We like shortcuts. If we can say something in one word that instead of 3, we want to do it.
It makes it sound smart.
It's easy, but it takes less time, it takes less effort. But the risk is that we also lose precision.
Yeah, okay, I can understand.
Okay, and we lose accuracy. And sometimes often in communication, accuracy, being specific, really matters. And so, if it's really really habitual, of we just say these things and never think about when we're saying them or in the context that we're saying them.
Okay.
We risk miscommunicating, right?
True.
Cool. Okay, so I don't have a bunch of examples of acronyms, but I think everybody knows it. The fun one that I heard recently was the TPS report, and that was from that movie, The Office Space. And they used the character that was that character in Office Space is now on CSI, and I'm sorry, NCIS.
Right.
And the writers worked it into the script, so
right.
that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So,
anyway,
okay.
What else?
Next category, third category, is euphemisms.
Oh, that sounds dirty.
Now that almost sounds like a buzzword, right? Or a jargon. It might be a psychological jargon. Oh, that's another area where jargon would be, psychology and neuroscience and things like that would be.
They got their own buzzwords.
And then because it's involving behavior and our, it applies to so many people, we would tend to pull those things out.
Right.
Okay, so anyway, euphemism.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
A euphemism, I'm going to read this directly. It's a mild or indirect word or expression that's substituted for one that's considered to be too harsh or blunt when referring to something unpleasant or embarrassing. So we talk about, horizontally challenged is a euphemism for being short. Okay, it's trying to soften something. They used to say when we were young, I don't think they say it so much anymore, big boned.
Oh,
that was.
That was always real big.
I think everybody knows what that is, right?
Another word for fat.
Between jobs, right? Instead of unemployed. It's trying to soften it, right?
Oh, okay.
Not the sharpest pencil in the box.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, we use that one a lot.
So
driving traffic.
And I should say, all of these are, even though I'm calling them, potential miscommunication. They are, various levels of miscommunication.
Yeah.
We're all guilty. We all use them. There's I don't think there's any way that watching this video or going through all this we're just gonna remove all this from our vocabulary and stop doing it.
Not from our jargon.
It's not going to happen, but we can be more intentional about it, and that's the point.
Okay.
Okay, so now to the icing. We're getting it gets even better.
This one. Okay, let's go.
So platitudes.
Oh, I like that word.
That's one of those words I've heard, and it's another form of miscommunication. You hear a word, you hear it in context, and you think you know what it means, but you couldn't define it if your life depended on it.
Is that like bless your heart?
No.
Oh.
No, I just think of it as, like I said, a word that I don't know how to say it different.
Give me an example.
Okay, example of a platitude. So it's something that's often quoted, and it's supposed to be having meaning, but it's generally some sort of oversimplification, and it's lost its meaning.
Okay, give me one.
Okay,
come on.
So
hit me with your best shot. Oh, that could be one.
There's no I in team.
Oh yeah, I hate that one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and it's literally, when you spell the word team, there is not the letter I in it. Right. So it's truthful. So it sounds truthful, but everyone on a team is an individual, and individuality needs to be respected.
Right.
So it really doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything useful.
Right.
Good things come to those who wait. Be that mean we should all just sit down and wait? And do nothing, and everything's going to be things will get better.
Yeah.
Time heals all wounds.
No, that's another crappy one.
Not if you've they use an example of what if you've lost a limb. Time's not going to help that.
That's true.
So it is what it is. How popular is that?
Oh, that was my mother's favorite.
Now, I can make a case for that being a description of the need for acceptance, to accept things that we can't change. Okay, but it is a platitude.
Oh, okay.
It just, winners never quit. Quitters never win is the other end of that I've heard.
Right.
And, you know, so these are platitudes, right?
Yeah.
When you hear some examples, and
Yeah,
I love your response. They all like, they fall flat.
Yeah, they're kind of ooey.
There's things that but we say them, you know, they come off our tongue before we've caught ourselves. So it's a trite, meaningless, or prosaic statement that's often used as a thought-terminating cliche. We're coming back to that.
Ooh.
But to reduce social, emotional, or cognitive unease. In other words, that's from Wikipedia, by the way. So you can go to Wikipedia and see quite a bit. So it's like trying to, I don't like where this is going, or I don't want to talk about this anymore, so I'm going to say something to just wrap it up. It is what it is. Let's don't talk about that anymore, right?
Okay.
I mean,
it's just like the weather. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it's some way of just kind of putting a period on that. You know, let's move.
Yeah.
C'est la vie.
Yeah, don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about this anymore. How's that? So what more, baby?
Okay, last one is cliche.
Oh, that's
okay. And cliches and platitudes, I think there's a lot of overlap here.
I think there's.
But a cliche is something that is, obviously a phrase, overused, often outside its original context. It might still be true, but its original impact and meaning is lost by the transferring out of its original context. So just because a phrase is a cliche doesn't mean it's not true, and just because it's overused doesn't make it a cliche. But again,
give me an example.
Some examples. Read between the lines. That's a cliche term. I mean, cliches aren't always words. Sometimes cliches are behaviors or images. Like, you know, you'll see characters in movies and TV that are cliches. Okay, you know
cliche. What was it? What was it? The cigarettes back in the 50s. The cowboy was
the cowboy. Yeah,
I never understood what cowboys had to do with smoking, but hey, made sense at the time.
I don't have a good list of cliche characters, but I think we can all think of one. But yeah, play your cards right. It's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry. You can't judge a book by its cover. That's cliche as heck. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, low-hanging fruit. Ignorance is bliss. So that's a few examples, and so we've got 5 different areas there of potential miscommunication just by either the meaning has gotten lost, and so it really doesn't have much meaning, or going back to the jargon and so forth, things that people either might not understand or might have different meanings for. When we get to the acronyms, I mean, how many 3-letter combinations? Some acronyms, the same 3 letters are used in 4 or 5 different ways depending on the area that they're used in,
Yeah.
So.
Like every 12-year-old female body inspector. Yeah.
For FBI.
Yes,
oh, okay.
you know,
well,
that one.
That famous T-shirt. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just we're again the invisible obvious. How many of these things do we let slip out of our mouths that we just habitually that we haven't thought about? And if we just give it a little extra thought, thinking about thinking, that we might find a more appropriate or accurate way of saying things and actually communicate better.
Oh.
So
what's the fun in that?
Let's leave that one lay. So. It is what it is.
It is.
And we're done.
Yeah, wrap it up there, big boy.
Let's go to how about we go to our website, Cooter Consulting Group.
Ooh, that's even better.
CooterConsultingGroup.com is our website. So please come and visit us, especially if you are a family business, because our specialty is removing frustration from family businesses, whether it's financial or interpersonal.
That's right. 13 generations.
I don't have as many. I was 3. But yeah.
But they were memorable.
Yes, they were.
So I worked there.
And we look forward to meeting you. Thanks.